Hello, everyone, and welcome to Zest, the podcast that will take you on a journey from the hustle to the harmony, fueling your passion whilst finding your peace. Today, I am very, very honored to have the most beautiful Dr. Makeba, who is known as the Doctor of Love. I'm very excited to find out more about that. She is a deeply intuitive healer, holistic coach, spiritual minister, an energy alchemist whose work is rooted in love, transformation and truth, guiding others back home to themselves through healing, self-love, soulful ceremony. She is the founder of Dr. Makeba and Friends, which I'm very intrigued to find out more about, where she offers everything from transformational retreats and strategic self-love coaching and intuitive energy healing, as well as sacred ceremonies of life. Wow. And it's through her ministry of love and her poetic book, Homecoming, A Journey to Light, that she invites others to reclaim their joy and their voice, which is so important at the moment. So I am so excited to investigate this more. It's truly an honor to welcome you, Dr. Makeba, as my first guest on this newly reimagined podcast, which is ultimately a space for just deep connection, truth, and heart-centered conversations. So welcome.
Thank you. It's my honor to be the first.
Yeah, so you are very welcome. And just to give some background, basically, when I had the honor of being the host and the moderator, listening to all you fabulous ladies at the recent event that we had, this is how this gem birthed, because I was co-hosting with someone else originally, and then it did, we have things that come up in life, and it was something really special to me. And even though it was conversation between two people, after hearing your incredible stories, and often focus more on a theme or your business, I wanted to know a little bit more. And that's how this was birthed, because I was like, I want to know the woman, the man, the person behind the story. So with that in mind, let's start. Obviously, I could read and I could investigate and check it all out, but where on earth did Dr. Love come from? Wow. Of all the names, that to me is such an honor. I would love to know more about that.
Great question. So it's Dr. Makeba for love, right? And it actually came to me in a divine message. This is not something that I came up with myself. I was telling this story earlier to someone about how when I first got, I guess, open, spiritually open, because it was like a
it's
open.
Like a
it was a big open sesame.
Too late.
And this literally happened like a little over 3 years ago, so not very long ago. But automatic writing was one of the things that happened for me early on, and so I was getting these messages from my spirit guides and from my ancestors and whatnot. And I remember, and this was like the very first week after I started being able to do all these things, I went to get a massage. And, the massage is like an hour, and I'm enjoying the massage. When I got out from the massage, I was like, okay, who has a message for me? So I jumped in my car and I pulled out my pen and my paper, and I wanted to see if any of my guides had anything. Like, did I miss anything in the last hour? And I remember it like it was yesterday, because it was just such an amazing experience. I was very relaxed after the massage. It was a Saturday, February 5th. Sun was out, beautiful day in Atlanta. And I was writing, and it said, "You are Dr. Makeba for love. You are here to help bring love and light back to humankind." And I'm like, whoa. And then it's still writing, "You will open a healing hand center in July." Mind you, this is February. I just learned Reiki like 7 days before. I'm a healthcare executive for 20 plus years. I'm going to open a healing hand center. It sounded really weird. Like, okay. and you're going to be doing all of these other things. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I'm like, well, who is this message from? And at the very end, it said, love God. And I was like, the tears started flowing, because by that point, I realized, I knew that the messages that were coming through were real. Most of the messages had been from my best friend, spirit guide, and my guardian angel, and my grandmother, and my dad, and stuff. But this one said it was from God. And I was like, wow, this is my purpose.
Beautiful.
And to be honest, I didn't really truly know why it was for love in that way until just recently, because a lot of other things started coming together for me. And so living for love is now a platform that I'm going to be launching.
Wow.
And it's about how to experience heaven on earth, you know, and a lot of that has to do with recognizing that we are here to love each other, to love ourselves, to love the experience, to love, you know, just to love. Love is the key. And so for love is, it's connected to divine order, the divine order of things.
Yeah.
There are 4 directions, there are 4 seasons. And so there's a lot to do with balance and getting things back into balance. But yeah, that's what the Dr. Makeba for Love is about. I'm all about love. I'm all for love.
Wow. And just to expand on that, one thing that really stood out to me, which, thank you for sharing that, by the way, is so, I think, like, here now, having this conversation and just the word love alone and speaking about it, I feel like it's something that, you know, it's very easy to talk about. But actually, what I have really found is that there is a huge courage in really loving.
Yeah.
Because I realized most of my life, I actually thought I was loving and receiving love, and I was really not. If anything, I was going so wholeheartedly the opposite direction. And I guess, like you say, when I really felt, the first time I felt my heart really crack open, it was not painful, but it brought me to my knees a little bit. It was like, what is this feeling? And it was such an overwhelming feeling, but so beautiful. So I really love that you brought that up, and I'm so excited to find out more about it. And with that in mind, I really love that you put "and friends," particularly when I saw on your website, because if there's one thing that I particularly have learned, which I would love to know your opinion on it, is once I had an idea of, like, say, my purpose, whatever we want to call it. It's something just in you that just keeps knocking until you start listening, basically. and basically I was like, so like what you said with the Reiki, with this, and I was almost like in Wonder Woman mode of like, okay, I need to learn this. And it was like I was on this like fast accelerated path of like, now I need to know how to do this and do this and do this. And then it was only actually, like what you said, very recently in the past couple of years that it was like, stop. No, you do not. And this is why I wanted to talk about the friends thing, because the moment, and this is very, very recent for me, that I stopped, because I feel like particularly with females, I don't know what your view is on this, but there's almost like this way that we've been created to feel like we're always in competition, and we are really not. And the moment where you stop and I look and I say, do you know what? Okay, I'm not sure. I don't know much about that, but I know an amazing woman that does. And there's some strength in, and this was another reason why I'm so excited to do this, because this is not just a podcast. This is networking. This is, you know, honoring the incredible impact that we are all doing as a voice to say, hey, I don't know that, but I know a woman that does. I will direct you. And it's just that networking. So I love that you put I think I saw two or three at the time of people that you trust. So you build your network and then it's mine because nothing belongs to us. And
Right.
you honor, people honor you and then you honor others and say, listen, this person is incredible for this. I love that. Love it so much. So thank you for that. And with that in mind, because I know that you also collaborate, well, this is my idea of what I read, on at your retreats, you bring these friends with you to the retreats. So I would love to know more about your sacred retreats, and I saw you do ceremonies.
Yes. Well, so let me roll back just for a moment to the friends, because that was something again that came in the same download, that it would be Dr. Makeba and Friends Healing Hands.
Beautiful.
And initially, and still, a lot of the friends are my spirit friends. So being connected to my spirits, right? But then also connecting healers, fellow healers who are up and coming. And I'm a teacher, so I teach Reiki, mastery. I also teach just spiritual, but I don't know how I would even describe it, but it's spirituality.
Yeah.
A more like open kind of spirituality. And so when people learn, especially in my programs, they need a place to go to practice, to work. And so it's a collaboration. It's not just about me. And then also, I think a lot of us have been taught to operate as competitors. Like you said, like we're competing against each other. And that has to do with this lack mindset that we have, that there's not enough for everyone. And there's more than enough. Much more than enough. So I do like to bring people in because when I do Reiki on people, I tell them that if you've had Reiki by one person, you've had Reiki by one person, because we each bring our own individual energy in as well. And so you may need something that someone else offers. I remember one of my friends that I promote on my webpage, he did Reiki on me and he unlocked this. It felt like male trauma that I had. It was like released because of the work that he did. And I didn't even realize that I was holding on to it. But when it released, I was like, wow, thank you. And I know so many women who would benefit from that work that you do. So yeah, it's really about
that's beautiful.
Spreading the wealth. And so I do primarily women's retreats. I also do men's retreats. And I consider them experiences. They're soul ascension experiences. And so each level kind of brings you up and up and up to, closer to your full embodied spirit.
Yeah.
And I do bring my friend, his name is Baba Jah. I bring him pretty regularly, especially to the women's retreats, because I know that the women there will need some of that support. So yes, my next retreat is the soft landing experience. And that one is for women and any heart really that's going through transition, especially like a divorce or job loss or something like that, where they have to figure out what's next. And they don't want to crash and burn. They need a soft place to land. And so they'll come with me and we'll do that together.
That's beautiful. And when is that?
July 25th to the 28th in Jamaica. And it's also an experience that I can curate for small groups. So like if there's a one woman or a couple actually that wants to do the soft landing experience, wherever they are in their relationship, I can help with that as well.
That's beautiful. And I know the answers, but I would like you to say it. If someone is interested in that, how would they be able to locate the information?
So it would be best to reach out to me on my website.
Beautiful.
www.drmakeba4love.com. Schedule a strategy session. I think, the first step with me is to schedule a strategy session so we can really talk about what you need, because it might be a retreat, it might be a class, it might be just that strategy session to talk things out. So I am open, my doors are open to talk to anyone who feels called to reach out to me, really.
That's beautiful. Wow. I'm excited to hear more about that. And Jamaica as well. Beautiful. I imagine it already. It's going to be Very transformational indeed. So with that in mind, if there was like one message that you would give to somebody listening that you just intuitively feel right now, you can even just like feel into the moment and just feel like, is there something right now that you feel using your voice? Because this is the power, is speaking it into existence. If there's something right now that you feel that maybe someone listening would really benefit from knowing.
Yes. And that would be to trust your knowing. Trust yourself, trust your knowing, trust your intuition. Listen to the quiet, loving voice that's going to tell you the things that will be in your highest and best good. And you'll know that it is not the negative voice when you feel the love. So trust the knowing, trust yourself, trust your journey. I think that's a big one for people. Trust your journey, that we experience so many things in this life and we classify them as good or bad, but most of them, if not all of them, are for our learning and growth. So it does not pay to like dwell in the past and, oh, I should have, would have, could have. No, it is what it is. And don't worry about the future so much. That's my 2 cents for today.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, and I'm so happy that you said that, because so many times in the work that I do, it's like, if it's not love,
yeah,
then think about that. And even like these high vibrational conversations that we're having now, always check your energy afterwards. Like, I've been on calls with people sometimes 3 hours. Okay, some work is, intense, and I feel fueled, I feel empowered. And I think that's another thing that we have to check, because often it's more than just the exchange of words, it's how do you feel afterwards.
Right.
So I also love that you said about, which I think is really important, even though love is for all, and we're all, like what you say, we all have what we're doing, but still I think having those discovery calls, those calls with you, is so important, because essentially everybody is kind of saying the same thing often, but there's different ways that we receive it. So I think it's so important that, like, just from your energy anyway, just listening to you now, you just have such a calming, beautiful, like, nurturing presence, which is so beautiful. And people will see that, and just from watching you now, or even listening, we don't always have to see with our eyes, it's much beyond the eyes. They would know straight away, I want to go to her retreat.
Yeah.
But it is, like we say, like, even the people that come and the group is very, very important. And so that's why I think, it's not just someone else saying the same thing, it hits people differently. So right. I really love that you said that. Thank you so much.
Can I just add that it's a beautiful thing that so many of us are saying the same thing. That means that we're all kind of getting on the same frequency, right? And some of us might resonate with some others of us better or differently, or even timing wise. It might be that someone needs this person first, and then they come to me next, and then they go to another person after. It's all part of the journey. So I'm really so happy when I see and hear all the people that are like, yes, I want you to remember who you are and why you're here, because that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Absolutely. And just to add to that, which I love that you said, because we have everything within us already, and we're not doing codependency. Nobody is holding anyone's hand. No one is, I need this time with you every single week for the rest of my life. No. It's taking that key and it's unlocking. So exactly. I really, really love that you said that. Thank you. So with that in mind, because I think this is the other reason why I decided to do this podcast, because, people could watch this now, see us shining, like, having this high vibrational conversation, and be like, think everything is just so easy and flow, And I think it's really important for us to not always honor the end result, to actually honor the process. And so with that in mind, like, do you have any, I know these are very personal to us, but do you have any like daily practices that you would like recommend or say that really keep you like aligned and centered and in your sovereignty?
So I always recommend to everyone meditation. And I think everybody talks about meditation these days. And that is very helpful to me. But in not just meditation, but centering is what is the most helpful. It's like shutting out the noise around you and focusing on the self. And I want to just share that it isn't always easy, right? It's not always easy to be laughing and smiling and joyful and happy. And sometimes we do have to check ourselves, to check our energy, check how the energy around us is impacting us, and then learn from our experiences to know how to respond in that moment. And I want to share an example, because I observe this a lot, especially in people who are on their healing journey. They feel like, oh, I'm healed and I'm never going to be tested again, or I'm healed and I'm always going to be light and love. And that's really not the case. No. But when you are tested, I think the challenge and the requirement is that you look at the experience with a different lens and figure out, okay, is this a test or is this not a test? Am I going to pass this test or am I not going to pass this test? Like, I know I really firmly believe that everything happens for a reason. So I don't get mad. I get a little irritated sometimes because occasionally I interact, especially with other people who are on their healing journey also, but they don't see what I see. You know, they kind of still are getting into the anger or the frustration, and they're backtracking. And I want everybody to be moving forward. So I'm looking like, oh, don't you see the lesson in it? Don't you see the lesson in it? So I think, back to your original question, the practice that I would recommend is checking yourself, looking in the mirror. And it's not always about affirmations about how great you are. It's like checking in with yourself, with your spirit. Are you operating from a place of love? Are you operating from a place of love? And what does love mean? So like, earlier in the conversation, you were talking about love. And I think a lot of us are confused about what love is, because we think that it is a feeling or something that you do, but it is really a state of being.
Yes.
A state of being. Beautiful. And, as people grow in this journey, I think the goal ultimately is to recognize that we are loved. And what does that mean? If we are loved, that means that we give love to others easily. They'll see love, they'll feel love, and they'll reflect it back to us. Beautiful. So if we come at it, just from that lens of we are love, I feel like we'll be in a much better place altogether as a human race. Just love.
Beautiful. And I think that ties into what I was going to ask you anyway, of like, because you're not just known for love, you're known for love and truth. And that's why I think this is so important what you've just said, because I was listening actually to someone's podcast recently, like Erin Lyons. I don't know if you've heard her. She's incredible. And one profound thing that she said is we all have a center. We all have our center of generally what we are most showing up the most as, okay? So, generally I'm very cheerful, I'm very playful, and I'm very easygoing, okay? That's pretty much my core, my general being. And when it wobbles like this, and sometimes it goes really high, and sometimes it's like, no matter what I do, I try to do dancing, I try to do singing, whatever, and I cannot get out of it. It's in those moments, which I love what you really said, that you just honor it. do you know
Yeah.
what? Today I'm feeling this and I am allowed to feel this. I give myself permission to feel this. And because I think there's also in the spiritual community this suppressing of, no, I must stay in a high vibration and no, stop. You know what? If you want to get in your bed and you just want to curl up with a hot water bottle and some chocolate and stuff that in your face, you do that because
You
honor it.
right.
And that's
Absolutely.
love in itself, you
That's
know?
love. And it is really fundamental to the human experience. Like we are here in this human form to experience the full range of emotions, the
Absolutely.
full spectrum of
Yeah.
life. Like it's a game. We're here to
Yeah.
experience these things because once we get back over to the spirit world, it's gonna be all love and light. Like it's gonna be, we'll have the ability to eat good food and like feel the morsels as they roll around in our mouths and go down into our bellies. Like we won't have the ability to have sexual relations. Like
Yeah.
things in the spirit are different. We come here on earth to experience the human experience in all of its ups and downs. So that's
Beautiful.
the journey, part of the journey. And I think
Mm.
that's part of the healing and the knowing is accepting that, there's many aspects that we're going to experience, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So, one last thing, because you kind of answered my how do we walk in more love and truth anyway. We kind of just, this is why, I don't want any script, and this is why I just want to just really go with the
Yeah.
flow and embrace the conversation, which we naturally are doing. So this is just me being intrigued. I notice you have a lot of beautiful butterfly rings.
Yeah.
Is there a symbolic reason behind? Because I feel like the way we present ourselves. So I actually have a rose,
Mm,
um,
yeah.
and I just love to know because I think once we become conscious, even about our words, we become conscious about everything.
Right.
Generally, I don't want to make any assumptions. So I would love to just know: is there something that when you put those or those rings on, is there something powerful that you feel, or is it
I guess I do. I for 48 years I wore one ring on one hand and one ring on the other hand, and then as all of this started happening for me, I started wearing more and more jewelry,
Mm,
and a lot of
beautiful.
them mean something or send vibrations. I've got crystals, various crystals, and they're related to the chakras and things. And I am very led by my spirit, so I'll choose to wear whatever my spirit says I need in that day. The
Beautiful.
butterfly, though, is a symbol that was presented to me on a trip to Costa Rica right before I opened my Healing Hand Center. And it was the big blue morpho butterfly that I had never
Mm,
seen. And I heard of the story of this butterfly. And it's an amazing, beautiful story of transformation. And so many of us going through a metamorphosis. And as we are in the spiritual journey, we bloom and blossom and become these butterflies.
mm,
And then further along in the journey, it became not just that we are going through a metamorphosis and we are becoming butterflies, but butterflies are also pollinators. And so we go around and we spread our little love and light all over the
beautiful.
place. And so that's the symbolism for the butterfly.
Wow, beautiful. See, there's a reason for everything. Um, wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. It's been an absolute blessing today. I knew it would be anyway. And yeah, if you have anything final that you would like to share or say before we conclude the session, I just want to honor you and honor all the incredible work you're doing. And I'm excited because I know at some point when the time is right that I'm sure we will connect in person and it will be beautiful.
Well, what I really would like to say is that I love your spirit. I love the work that you're doing. I love your mission and how passionate you are about doing it. the zest that you have for life and love and humanity is beautiful, and it just shows in everything that you do, even in the brief interaction that we had during that conference. But now I see it even more. It radiates. So you are a rose. You are a rose, and it is beautiful to be in your presence. So thank you very, very much for having me.
Wow, I was not expecting that, but thank you so much. That was really beautiful of you to say. And yeah, I will put all your information, and I'm sure there's going to be so many people that want to reach out and get in contact with you after this incredible session. And just keep going, keep glowing, keep growing, and being you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.